We're set.
May I have a motion to reconvene the public meeting at 8:05 PM?
Motion.
Second.
We did roll call earlier. Can we stand and for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any board announcements? Okay, we'll get to committee reports later on in the agenda. Dr. Pritchett, your superintendent's report.
Thank you, Mr. Jacobs. Welcome, everyone. We're so pleased to introduce Dr. Lloyd, who has a presentation to honor the milestones and significant achievements of some of our staff. And what we'll do is we're going to start that presentation right now. So, Mr. Brady, would you go ahead and start the stream?
At the end of the school year, we prepared a presentation honoring our milestone members, including those who have served between 20 and 35 years, tenure recipients, and those colleagues who have or will be retiring. Please join me in honoring our team members.
Thank you to Dr. Lloyd and his team for putting together that very excellent presentation. I want to echo his sentiments by stating that a great congratulations to our tenure recipients, a note of honor to our 20-30 year milestone recipients and for all the wonderful work that they've done, and a bittersweet goodbye to our folks who will be retiring. We'll miss them. In the short 7 years that I've been here, they've become like family to all of us, and I can't even imagine what it's like without them. And I hope that they'll visit us from time to time to let us know how they're doing, because they will be missed. And certainly we wish them each and every recipient this evening, wish them well in whatever endeavors they intend to pursue. Whether here as our honored staff or in retirement. So well wishes, congratulations, and it's a great honor being your colleague, and it's a joy to be your superintendent in good times and in bad. So thank you.
I would just like to say on behalf of the board, this is traditionally one of the more enjoyable board meetings to, I'll say, recognize those members that have served the longevity to the district. It's always amazing. You see some of the years that some of the staff has committed to the district, and some of them, it seems like just yesterday they started. That's always a pleasure to see. And then it's always enjoyable to welcome those that have been granted tenure. Obviously, that's not something that the board does lightly. There's a lot of deliberation that goes with that, and we welcome you. And it's always sad to see the retirees there. It's extremely well deserved, and we appreciate your commitment and dedication to the district throughout all these years. But as Dr. Pritchett said, there'll be voids when many of you walk out the building, and the buildings, the children, the colleagues, are all better for your commitment to them throughout all these years. And again, on behalf of the board, we thank you, and we wish you fabulous endeavors and well wishes in the next step of your lives and your futures. So thank you again.
So also thank you to our principals who were able to join us here tonight. We appreciate your commitment to this process as well. And we know that you are certainly a vital component to the success of each of those individuals as well. So thank you for your support. And I think it's important caveat that Mr. Rudy Arrieta wanted to be here tonight. He is at the high school musical, which if you haven't gotten tickets yet, I would encourage you all to attend. I know we have a show tomorrow night, which I plan to go to, and we'll have more information about that on our webpage for those of you who are interested in attending. Got it. Okay. I do have a quick note of information I'd like to draw your attention to, but this is actually for an update for our public as it relates to grant funding, additional grant funding that we've received from the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act, Elementary and Secondary Schools Emergency Relief Fund. Now, the acronym for that is CRRSA ESSER. All this information will be conspicuously posted on our website, and along with an email link for any of you who may have questions or comments about this funding, and the application of this funding. So we welcome any feedback any feedback that any of you may have, or the public at large may have, as it relates to these very important this very important relief as it relates to the coronavirus response. This is a grant-funded program for which we are allocated $2,169,755.51. We have drafted our grant proposal, and we are seeking feedback from our parents and community regarding the plans to expend these monies. And again, we will have a link conspicuously posted on our website tomorrow. I also know that Dr. Kulat intends to work with the Title I grant funding committee, which also is comprised of our stakeholders, parents, teachers, educators, who will also help form the response to this application, which is due on June 15th. A bit of a short suspense, but we do feel like we've put some really good work into this, and I'll talk about that in a second. I just want to give a very special thanks to Dr. Tessick, Mr. Brady, and Mr. Adola, who worked over the course of several days in terms of how these monies should be allocated. Obviously, with input from the remainder of the cabinet, and how to best spend this money for the benefit of our students and for our community. Talk a little bit about this now in summary. The majority of this grant is targeted to provide services and supports to students to address learning loss and regression and mental health at all 4 of our buildings. These supports will run in the summer and throughout the school year and allow every student an opportunity to participate. We have specifically targeted monies to provide additional support for students in the area of reading at the elementary levels. The Board of Education and the community at large has had an opportunity to see some of that phenomenon that we'll call a regression that we've seen in our last data presentation, our last workshop. Again, that learning loss is something that is reflected in some depressed reading scores, and we're going to apply these resources with that learning loss in mind, and we're going to do it in light of that data that again that you should be familiar with, but again the public can refamiliarize themselves with that as part of our May data workshop. We are also looking to provide ongoing access to new instructional tools that our students learned and found highly engaging, including those for social emotional learning like Pear Deck. As an example, we are also looking to recoup monies expended by the district relating to COVID, including but not limited to cost of required trainings related to health and safety, contact training, daily screening tools, cleaning supplies, and the cost of providing free meal service. Lastly, we intend to recoup monies that the district incurred in purchasing technology equipment for staff and students. Now, another pocket of money coming from this relief, this Relief Act is the CRRSA's Governor's Emergency Education Relief, commonly known as the Gear 2 Fund. This is also a grant-funded program, which we were allocated $299,000 and roughly $299,092, $299,092. The CRSSA GEAR monies are targeted to, first, providing direct support to academic needs at the secondary level through the creation of a student academic support center where students can drop in to request assistance at any time during the day. And this will partner with the new Prevention Center. And I know Mr. Arietta and Dr. Tessick and the admin team have been working diligently along with Dr. Kulat to really synchronize the effort between the academic center, the prevention center, in anticipation at some point, hopefully being able to do some renovation work. But in the meantime, we have looked at the footprint of the high school, and we have created spaces for those activities to occur. Again, the academic center, the academic support center, where students can drop in at any time during the day, as well as a prevention center, which will largely be oriented towards providing students with counseling in a cohesive setting. Secondly, the CRSSA gear monies will also provide additional reading support at the secondary level. So this is a conceptual sketch about where we intend to assign this relief support, the Emergency Relief Fund, the CRRSA ESSER monies. Again, we'll provide more detailed information for public information on our website. It will be available tomorrow, along with a link, and we would encourage anyone who wishes to do so to provide us with feedback, and we'll have more to present to you. But again, it is a short suspense. I believe June 15th is the application. We've done a preliminary draft. We've loaded it onto the system. But again, we're not going to push go on that until we've had an actual conversation with folks in our community as to just in order to make sure that we're reflecting the needs and wants of our community. So that concludes pending your questions. This concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Pritchett. Next on the agenda is committee reports, and I just looked at my calendar quickly to see. I know we had a finance audit meeting since the last board meeting, and I know that there was some Rockland School Board activity in the last week or so, and there was a meeting this evening as well. So does someone want to give an update on their committees? And I don't know if I missed any other committees that met during the past 2 weeks.
I can start. Pretty straightforward for audit committee. We met last week, a couple business items. We went over the audit plan from the external auditor as the school calendar year is coming to an end, and the district's financials have to be audited. So that was well thought out with, and Mark Levy, the partner at Nugent and Hausler, presented the plan, and it all made sense to the committee. And then separately, we also did review the engagement letter for the internal auditor, which includes the risk assessment as well. And I think that's in for approval as well. And the last item, just for the board, the seat for Mary Hartnett has been came up for expiration this year. Mary has agreed to renew her seat, so we are putting her forward as a recommendation to keep her on the audit committee. She's a valuable member of the committee, and I think that was the extent of the meeting.
Thank you, Dan.
We had a policy meeting last week, policy committee meeting. We reviewed 4 policies: the media relations and communication, social media, budget transfers, and electronic or wire transfers. I was checking on my notes. I know that the media relations and communication, social media will need some further follow-up, but I think we were, Dr. Stepanian, I don't know if you recall, I think budget transfers and electronic or wire transfers ready to go for a first reading. Is that what you recall?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, great. I'm not losing it. Okay. And then yesterday we had the Rockland County,
Ms. Lake, could you hold on one second?
Sure.
Mr. Madrid had a question. I think his question is going to be the same as mine, but I'll see whether he has to say it. Go ahead.
oh,
Mr.
okay,
Sorry to interrupt you,
Sure.
Ms. Lee. So some of those policies are very financial in nature where we may want to bring it to audit committees such
Okay.
as budget transfers and the like. I don't know what the process needs to be, but if we have a draft of it before the reading, we can circulate it with the committee for comment.
got it, makes sense.
So I was going to say what Mr. Lamadrid had to say, but I was also going to add that we have a new school business administrator that's starting. And it would be, I think, beneficial to just have him put his eyes on it and see if there's anything that he sees that, he'd like to shape, one way or the other. I just would not want to have a policy that then ties his hands or he sees that it should be revised as soon as he starts. So since we have that opportunity, I'd like to have him just put his eyes on it as well and see if he has any comments to it.
Yep. I just need to go back and double check. I thought maybe one or two of them had a time-bound restriction and requiring them to be in place by a certain date. Am I remembering it correctly, Kathy?
No, there was no deadline.
There was no deadline? Okay. All right, then, no barriers. Good suggestions. We'll definitely follow up on that. Okay, any other questions on policy? Okay, so the Rockland County School Board Association yesterday had their kind of end of school year meeting. It was virtual, although it's usually a dinner and a celebration of the school year. I still think it went pretty well. It was a lot of Zoom coordination. It was an opportunity for us to recognize our district food service folks. So for South Orangetown, that was Mary Mills and Heidi Bishop. And just like all the districts, they really went above and beyond this year between what they did in the last school year and the start of the pandemic and putting together all the lunches and the breakfasts and packing them up and sending them out. And they really did a terrific job. So we really did want to recognize them. We also wanted to recognize those board members that will be outgoing. So we did recognize Mr. Henry, and we also recognize those new board members that will be joining us, which I mentioned for our district is Dr. Stilley. In addition to that, I wanted to mention that Dr. Montesano, who is the superintendent over at the Nyack School District, gave the keynote speech under the title of The Land of Hope and Dreams. He talked a lot about diversity, equity, inclusion, but also he recognized Dr. Pritchard, as well as all the other superintendents of the district, including BOCES, that he's had real collaborative experiences and really gained a lot of great relationships. And so he wanted to thank them as well as acknowledge them. So I wanted to make mention of that. And what else? Also elected the officers for the new coming year and approved the budget. So that was it.
Thank you, Ms. Lee. Appreciate your time and commitment to the policy committee and the Rockland County School Board. So, and Mr. Lamadrid, I appreciate your commitment to the Audit and Finance Committee.
Dr. Stepanian is also on the policy committee. So.
I was going to say, I appreciate Dr. Stepanian's commitment to the policy committee. And I know, Dr. Stepanian, you're on other committees. And I know, Mr. Henry, you're on several committees as well. So it's more than the Thursday night meeting. So I appreciate everybody's time and commitment.
As are you, Mr. Jacobs.
Are there any other committee reports? Okay, seeing none. Is there any discussion on the agenda items?
Nothing in addition to I think we're tabling several items that I'm sure
Yeah,
you'll cover. but-
so next item is changes to the agenda item. So the Board of Education, after reviewing some of the agenda items, has asked for some additional information. So based upon the board's request for the additional information, if you would make note to your consent agenda items that the motion I'm going to put forward in a minute will table items 8C, 8D as in David, 8I as in India, 8J as in Juliet, and 8Q as in Quebec. Are there any other comments on the agenda? Seeing none.
Sorry, Lonnie, did you say 8K also or no?
No, I did not say 8K. Is there a concern with 8K? Hang on a second.
I apologize. No, I retract that question.
8K was the pupil transportation contract for Rockland County BOCES.
Correct, and that's not an extension, so thank you.
All right. So may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 5, 6, 7, and 8, wherein we will table items 8C as in Charlie, 8D as in dog, 8I as in India, 8J as in Juliet, and 8Q as in Quebec.
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Within the consent agenda that we just moved, I'd like to welcome the additional members to the South Orangetown School District. And I believe the administrators that we just appointed, Mr. Vespi as the school business administrator, and Ms. Sanchez, the William O'Shafer assistant principal, are here with us this evening and would like to make a comment.
Hello, I'm Mibelis. Was that my cue?
That's Ms. Sanchez. Welcome to the South Orangetown Central School District.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here, and I am super excited to have been given this opportunity and to work in William O'Shafer and work alongside Ms. Beglin. And I'm getting to know people. I know a few people. I'm getting to know more people. And you would be very pleased to know that I have only heard really great things about the district and about the school. So I feel like I've won the lottery.
Well, we appreciate your thoughts and your comments. We appreciate your enthusiasm, and we look forward to working with you as a future administrator with the district.
Thank you.
Welcome aboard.
Thank you. Very glad to be here.
Mr. Vespi, you've been unmuted.
Yes, thank you very much. Thanks, everyone. Again, just so excited and can't wait to begin working in district. And actually, I've already kind of started that behind the scenes. And again, thank you for this opportunity. I look forward to serving the community and the entire board. And I can't wait to start collaborating with the administrative team. So thanks so much, everyone. I really appreciate this opportunity. And I'll see you all very soon.
Thank you, Mr. Vespi. And again, welcome you to the South Orangetown Central School District. And we look forward to working with you. Is there any new business that the board member or cabinet would like to bring up? I see none, so I have one. I know we've, have provided a tremendous service to our community with regard to the food pantry during the school year. And the next board meeting will be the last board meeting of the school year. And while we as a board continue to work throughout the summer, we have the reorg meeting in July, and then we have limited meetings throughout the summer. And I know the cabinet is still there working throughout the summer. But at the next board meeting, can we have a presentation about the food pantry's availability during the summer months? Because I just want to make sure that those who, rely on it, that they're aware of what the availability will be during the summer.
So I did see Dr. Tessick respond in the affirmative. I hope I'm not spoiling any of your thunder, Mr. Jacobs. We would respectfully like to have our next meeting in person if it's possible. I know that the governor's executive order expires the day before the meeting. So hopefully we'll have the opportunity to meet in person. We'll arrange, again, to have that, to honor that request, to talk about the food pantry. But I think it's also important to note that next meeting, we intend to honor our volunteers. And a big stake is held by those individuals who did volunteer at our food pantry. So I think it's particularly fitting that we honor those volunteers while also providing that information to continue to serve and to continue to function as a viable resource for our community. So I did see Dr. Tessick nod her head, and we'll be happy, pleased, honored to comply with that request.
And again, the request is more of a presentation to the community about its availability and services than a presentation to the board about its functionality.
Got it.
Okay, so you just please keep that in mind when you prepare the presentation. And it's more about marketing and information than to the board at this point. I have nothing else for new business. If there's no other business, may I have a motion to adjourn at 8:41 p.m.?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much for everybody's time this evening. And as Dr. Pritchett indicated that he is going to the high school musical tomorrow evening, I plan to attend as well. I am looking forward to it, to see that there is some getting back to whatever we want to call the new normal. But it's good to start having the opportunity and availability to do some of these traditional things that we do in the district this time of year. So, and again, I appreciate everybody's in the district, the the entire staff, whether it's the administration staff, the educational staff, the facilities staff, the support staff, to get us to where we are, at this point in the year under the circumstances we've all had to work with. So it is truly a